Time for Social TV, where we go slightly deeper than the headlines, because sometimes the real story isn't what went wrong, it's what we learn from it. And today's story starts with a word most people don't like: complaints. Because when most people hear the word complaint, they assume something has already gone wrong, a dispute, a problem, a failure. But what if complaints are actually one of the most important innovation tools in modern financial systems? What if complaints are not just signals of breakdown, but signals of progress? Because across South Africa's financial sector, complaints are increasingly being used as intelligence, helping regulators, institutions, and policymakers identify risks earlier, strengthen consumer protection, and improve outcomes. And at the center of the shift is the Ombud Council, because the innovation is really important. In ESG conversations, we often talk about innovation in technology, AI, fintech, blockchain, digital platforms. But one of the most important innovations happening right now is far less visible: using complaints data to improve how financial systems work, because complaints contain something incredibly valuable: evidence of real lived experience. They show where products are misunderstood, where communication breaks down, where consumers feel exposed, where trust is weakened. And when you analyze complaints at scale, patterns emerge, patterns that can prevent harm before it spreads. That's where the social impact story really begins. Part of this shift is explored in Ombud Lens, a podcast examining how South Africa's financial complaint system is evolving to improve outcomes for consumers. One of the key ideas emerging from these discussions is a move towards outcome-based regulation, which simply means instead of only asking whether institutions followed rules, regulators are increasingly asking whether customers actually experience fair outcomes. Did the customer understand the product? Were the risks explained clearly? Was the advice appropriate? And was the complaint process accessible? Because compliance on paper doesn't always mean clarity in real life, and clarity matters. So let's look at the role of the Ombud Council. The Ombud Council plays a central role in strengthening how the financial dispute resolution system works. Rather than handling individual complaints itself, the Ombud Council operates at system level, ensuring South Africa has an Ombud framework that is independent, accessible, and fair. Importantly, complaints are no longer viewed only as isolated cases. They are being analyzed collectively to identify systemic risks across the financial sector. That allows regulators and policymakers to see trends earlier and respond more effectively, which means the system improves continuously. So why do complaints data matters? Because when complaints are analyzed properly, they can reveal important patterns, product design gaps, unclear communication, misleading advice, digital fraud risks, areas where consumers may be vulnerable. These insights help improve transparency, consumer confidence, financial literacy, product design, institutional accountability. Now let's look from a social impact perspective, because this contributes to stronger households and more resilient economies. Because when systems are fair and understandable, individuals are better able to plan for education, retirement, business investment, and long-term stability. So let's look from disputes to insights, because historically complaints were often seen as reputational risk, something institutions wanted to minimize or avoid. But leading regulators increasingly recognize that complaints provide valuable feedback. They highlight opportunities to improve products, strengthen communication, reduce future disputes, and build stronger relationships with customers. In other words, complaints are becoming part of continuous improvement, and continuous improvement is at the heart of responsible ESG practice. A simpler system for consumers. Now, South Africa's financial Ombud environment has also become more streamlined in recent years, making it easier for consumers to access dispute resolution. Simpler systems improve accessibility. Accessible systems improve resolution outcomes, and effective resolution processes strengthen trust in financial institutions. Trust is one of the most valuable forms of social capital in any economy, and trust grows when systems are transparent, responsive, and fair. Let's look at the digital risk environment. As financial services become more digital, new risks continue to emerge: impersonation scams, phishing attacks, fake investment platforms, cloned websites, AI-generated financial misinformation, which makes early detection even more important. Public awareness and consumer education, therefore, play an essential role in strengthening financial resilience because informed consumers are more confident consumers. See, here's my final thoughts. Behind the headlines, complaints are becoming more than records of problems. They are becoming tools for improvement. They are helping identify risks earlier. They are strengthening fairness. They are supporting better financial outcomes. Importantly, the numbers show that this system is working. Before consolidation, the Ombud was already resolving thousands of disputes each year, helping consumers correct credit records, resolve disputes, and improve financial clarity. The Ombud Council's current framework is also focused on expanding consumer awareness and strengthening the system further, including new education initiatives and increased use of complaints data to identify risks earlier and improve regulatory responses. Because when complaints are analyzed collectively, they don't just resolve individual cases, they improve how the system works for everyone. Better insight leads to better decisions lead to better products lead to greater trust, and trust is one of the most important forms of social capital in any economy. This is shared value in action. It is social innovation applied to financial systems. It is what happens when institutions listen carefully to the signals consumers provide, and ultimately, it helps build a financial system that is more transparent, more responsive, and more aligned with the needs of the people it serves. For Social TV, I'm Sam Marshall. Go to our platform for more positive stories, www.social-tv.co.za.